Welcome to Fast Track Video. My name is Ed Bangle, and we are going to be smoking beef Wellington. And this is what Chef Ramsey failed to tell you video, because the bottom line, I want to really, put everything in a nutshell. I really love what Aaron Franklin said. You got to keep trying on your cooking. And you got to be creative. You got to be something that stands out differently from the rest. And that's what this video is. It is not doing things in alignment to what Chef Ramsey did, although I did try it and it didn't work so well with me. But what I will share with my experience here may be more beneficial. Whether it is or it isn't, the best thing that I can offer to someone that loves to cook is be creative and take some challenges. There may be some mistakes along the way. Find things that you really like and say, I like this kind of almond instead of chestnuts, for the duck shell. So the duck cell. So it is what it is. And I'm just here to just share a little bit about my experiences with the beef Wellington. First and foremost, I just can't work without having proper tools. And in this case here, I use my fishing knife and a cutting stone thing where I put my hand on it and I can sharpen my knife to make it really, really sharp, because you really want to have this sharp for cutting the meat, and mainly, when you're done with the Wellington, it's cutting it and making it nice clean cuts. I also have several white cutting blocks, and in this one it looks like it's old, so I went out and bought some new ones, but I have a couple of them in my house in different sizes. This one here is, I love this rub, and this is different from Chef Ramsey, so I use that's incredible. What I've learned the most in terms of cooking and smoking is you got to learn your equipment. If you don't learn and understand your equipment, and along with the weather temps, in this case it's winter time over here in Texas and it's very cold and it was raining today. So you really have to think out, my temperatures are going to be a little bit different than what I normally cook in the summertime. And these are beef tenderloin cuts here, and I cut them in half, and it looks like there's one end here that looks a little funny in its nature. I decided to make 2 pieces of Wellington, as you saw from the intro here, and it really turned out very good. Well, here we go to the duck cell. Now, the item that's upside down right here is horseradish mustard. And my apologies for not having that set up properly here. But it's horseradish mustard. I didn't use English mustard because I did want a little more of a kick on the meat with the, as opposed to having English mustard, and the horseradish was one that really did very well. The blue diamond honey almonds, as opposed to the chestnuts, really nice sweetness into that flavor. And when I end up putting that with the mushrooms, and I used a blender on the left here, which really does very good, it's a Cuisinart. It kept the almonds in it chopped it down, but not to the point like it was powder. I wanted something a little bit crunchy when you bite into that nice puff pastry, and the duck cell, and the Parma ham, which is the prosciutto. These things I wanted to kick out. I wanted to make known that it's there, but I didn't want to overpower the nice tasty meat. So there you have it there. I wanted to bring this to an attention because not a lot of people think about this in terms of their backyard, but the biggest investment I have in my house right now is this wonderful sink table. It's great. I use it for washing Daisy, giving her a bath. I use it for cleaning other things in the backyard that need to be cleaned, like the grills, and it's very multi-purpose. So I love this sink, and I highly recommend anybody. It did cost me a little bit of money. It cost me close to $500 to buy the materials, and then I had to put it all together. It's a rolling cart, so it's not something that is not rolling. And I did talk to some people that had already pre-made carts at Home Depot, and I wanted to put certain things on it that would sustain itself from the wood, and they didn't recommend it. And one other thing that I might do here is put a vise on one of the ends on this table here. And the only reason why is because I was using this rigid saw, as you see here, to cut some of the oak wood that I have. And these little shavings is the apple wood that I got over at Oakland in California. But I'm not in California, I'm here in Texas. So, and I'm just highlighting the sink, which does wonders for me. And it has a drain, and I can just dump the stuff on the Home Depot bucket out into the grass. It's not a big showstopper here for me. And this is what it looks like in my wonderful Blaze Kamado. And I want to really emphasize, this is a super heavy Kamado. It's one that I can drop 100 times, it'll never break, because it is 1 1/4 inch cast aluminum steel. It is like a tank, and I love cooking on this because it keeps the temps intact. It doesn't go up or down. You can monitor these things, but I usually don't, because really once I have it set, I can let it go and let it ride. So this is my Blaze Kamado. And that is the 5 pieces of wood along with charcoal. That's how I'm going to cook this thing here. Another awesome investment I did here, originally in the beginning I used barbecue chimney starters. They were great until they became hard to find, things like the blower, and then the blower eventually burned out after, I don't know, a dozen cooking events. And in fact, it was cheaper. So it was cheaper by about $30. So there you have it. And this works really good. I have had no problems with trying to heat up charcoal or anything for that matter. So here's the beginning of my smoking experiment or extravaganza. It's not an experiment here. And there's Daisy over here. She's looking at something. She's looking for something to eat. We're inside the house here. It is raining outside, so we're gonna go check out here a little bit. So you can see, this is the way I have set up my smoker right now. I have everything opened all the way. Nothing is being cooked right now. And at first I started to put, I have a round plate that kind of protects the meat from getting burned, but I had to pull that out. I will show that shortly here as well. But as you can see, I've got air coming in from the vent at the bottom to keep things heating. Nothing is at a certain temperature right now. It seems like it's awfully cold outside, so this is the stuff that I was saying that may take a little bit of playing to see if it's going to work. And as you can see, I did have the plate in there on this one here, but I did remove it out. So okay, as you can see, I still kept my vent open at the bottom, and this is kind of like about almost 25 minutes in the cooking process here. And that was the dimensions I had on my lid there. The dampers at the top. There's the meat. and just keeping things clean here. Daisy's getting hungry, and we're going to continue with this and drop the meat into the cooker, smoker. Okay, so we got the meat going at 200 right here. So we're going to put the meat in right now. So we got the grill heated up nicely. Once again, I'm not using the plate that I usually put below that grill, the top grill there. There's a second grill underneath it, and I usually put a plate down there to keep the meat from getting burned. But in this case here, because it's so cold and I'm not getting the temperature up to where I'd like it to be, I'd like it to get up a little more than 200, like maybe 225, 240. Okay, so this is now 2 hours later, and as you can see in here, the meat is fairly good and done. This one here appears that I may have to put in there another hour because it's thicker, but this one here, this is what I found out after I started to eat this first one, the small piece. I noticed that it was pretty well done all the way through. So if I had to do this all over again at 200, maybe I'll go about an hour, well, probably about an hour and 20 minutes. Because this thing cooked all the way through. The larger one, you have to see what that one is. The only video here I have left to this video, the wrapping procedures was pretty much the same thing that I did, that Chef Ramsey did. The only thing is I did not really want to go the route of wrapping it and tossing it into the refrigerator. Instead, I started to get this stuff wrapped as best as I can and put it over the, get it to the point where I could easily put it onto the puff pastry. And then from the puff pastry, I was able to just put it in the oven at 350 degrees. And I had it in there at 350, about 45 minutes or so. Here, I'm gonna cut this in half and have everybody take a look at this, because the other one was kind of more well done. This one here, we're gonna find out. Let's split this in half. And there it is. I already cut this thing. So looking at it, it is kind of like a medium well. I probably shouldn't have ended up cooking as much as it is, but looking at this with my finger in here, I can still see the juices in here, so it's going to be good. I mean, I really like it. It's not as red as I've had it before on my cookings here, so this was a really good, successful cook. And as I was saying, the glazed part at the top looks a little like it's muddy, but it's only because I turned it around and I cooked this bottom part to make sure that it was thoroughly cooked through. Probably about 45 minutes. I was watching this so that I didn't make it burn. So, and I wanted to make sure it was thoroughly cooked. So there you have it, my friends. Beef Wellington, smoked beef Wellington. Not just any Wellington. This was smoked using a glazed Kamado, and really tasty.